Hey folks, and welcome back. If you didn't watch the previous parts of the series, then I recommend to do so right now. Otherwise, let's go straight to Chris Roberts' post-EA era. In 1996, Chris left Electronic Arts and founded his own company Digital Anvil. Along with his brother Aaron and some colleagues from EA, he set up camp in Austin, the capital of Texas. The plan was to produce not only games but also movies. The first and only movie released was Wing Commander in 1999, after the screen adaptation rights had been bought from Origin. Several changes in character backgrounds and nationalities were made. On top of that, some names and parts of the plot were altered. The carrier was called Tiger Claw instead of Tiger's Claw, and the Rapier fighters shown in the movie were salvaged fuselages of scrapped Lightning jet fighters from the 50s. Strong criticism also hit the Kirathi, which looked like faintly feline turtles with goatees. Chris Roberts later said their appearance is what he regrets most about the movie. The Kirathi's visual style had been changed several times during the set preparations. For example, the first iteration of puppets were built before the set was even complete. They then turned out to be too large and didn't blend into the final scene in a natural way, which made them look weird and clumsy. Also, there was less budget available for the Kirathi special effects than 5 years earlier for Wing Commander 3. What about the movie's cast? It's quite good. Jürgen Prochnow, the guy you might know from the legendary movie Das Boot, is one of the Wing Commanders. David Warner plays the commander of the fleet. Saffron Burrows replaced Yolanda Gillot as Angel. Sadly, they are at the mercy of an abysmal script and couldn't save the movie from utter failure. Freddie Prinze Jr., who was cast to play Colonel Blair instead of Mark Hamill, later said, "I can't stand Wing Commander. I can't watch one screen of that movie. I read the script and loved it. So did my buddy Matthew Lillard. We both got the parts. We went on location and they said, 'Here's the new script.' It was a piece of shit." Chris Roberts later wrote a Reddit entry in which he reflected on the errors he made during production. According to him, several factors combined contributed to the movie's failure. First of all, he was an inexperienced director. Although he directed the live action for Wing Commander 3 and 4, a movie is a whole other level of subtlety and finesse. Also, Fox wanted the movie to be released before Star Wars Episode 1, which cut down pre-production time to under 3 months, which is way too short for a sci-fi movie. Thirdly, he gave in to some of the studio's casting choices. They were keen to bring in the young horror fans who were seeing movies like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But that really wasn't Wing Commander's audience. And lastly, he would have needed a producer who would help him focus. Roberts wrote, "I needed someone to help me on the set, to tell me, hey Chris, I know you want to do these 10 things, but we only have money to do 5 things really well. That's what a strong producer does, and it's what I've tried to do for other directors I've worked with over the last 10 years. That seems to be mostly correct. During the coming years, he did a handful of movies as a producer. Some turned out to be quite good, like Lord of War or Lucky Number 11. Others rather not, like Who's Your Caddy or Ask the Dust. But, as already mentioned, Digital Anvil wasn't founded to exclusively do movies. While Chris Roberts did the Wing Commander movie, Aaron Roberts did Starlancer. Starlancer was a solid game. Basically Wing Commander on a modern engine without the license. The setting is nothing special. In its core, it's an escalated Cold War story carried over into the future. Russia, China, and some eastern states versus the West. Coalition versus alliance. What it does very well, on contrary, is the virtual newsletter and video broadcasts. They inform the player about what's going on in the war, which helps embedding the player's actions into a bigger picture. Also, wingmen and crew show different reactions based on your current standing with the people aboard your carrier. In the end, Starlancer was a bit like Wing Commander 4, more evolution than revolution. The Digital Anvil project aimed to be revolutionary was Freelancer. It is the chronological sequel to Starlancer. As far as we know, development started simultaneously. First outlines were drafted by Chris Roberts as early as in 1997. His plan was to bring to life the vision he had for Wing Commander all along. A big living and breathing universe. A virtual galaxy where the everyday life of non-player characters would continue even in the absence of the player. A persistent world with a fully functional economy and dynamic weather system on each world. Thousands of players would roam this vast space, all with their own agenda. They would team up to do quests together. Artificial intelligence could control the player's spacecraft on demand, allowing him to focus on other tasks. Chris started out with 3 co-workers. Over time, the team grew to 35+ people along with a bunch of external developers. In 1999, the project was officially announced. Chris Roberts also confirmed the last quarter of 2000 as the game's release date. This assumption turned out to be completely unrealistic, and the game later was delayed to 2001 at least. But a more important event took place 1 year earlier. In June 2000, Microsoft knocked on Digital Anvil's front door and proposed to buy the company. Chris Roberts signaled that he would need large sums of money to achieve the ambitious goals of the Freelancer project. I couldn't find any information on the internet about how the talks went, but the last time Chris Roberts was mentioned to be involved in the project is a mini interview PC Gamer did in November of 2000. He tells the magazine he's been impressed by Homeworld last year, which is in fact a beautiful game. There's also a remastered version available now if you'd like to try out one of the best space games ever. He also gives new game developers the advice to stay focused on quality and to finish what they started. 1 month later, Microsoft seals the deal and Digital Anvil is added to their portfolio. Rumors say Digital Anvil ran out of funds because they did not only try to create one overly ambitious game but a couple of them at the same time. 4 years without releasing a single game ate up most of the company's money and left it at the mercy of the new owners. Microsoft knocked Freelancer into shape and stripped it of its massive multiplayer component. Chris left the company and remained as a creative consultant for the Freelancer project. Then things went silent, and the game was seen as vaporware for a while, but was eventually released in 2003, although with a clearly diverging feature set. How exactly the final product differed from the original draft, and how well or not it was received will be the subject of part 3 of the series. We'll also shine a light on what Chris Roberts did between his departure from Digital Anvil and the beginning of the Star Citizen project. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, share to help me grow my channel. If you disliked this episode, then you know what to do, hit that thumbs down button and make me suffer for not properly entertaining you. Thanks for watching and see you on the next Magnets and Miracles.